When did your teacher completely lose it? I was in Miss Williams' study period when the earthquake hit. Not a big one, maybe 4.5, but enough to form a crack across the ceiling. Miss Williams stood up from her desk. Everyone back to work. No need for dramatics. Miss Williams, shouldn't we evacuate? There's a crack in the ceiling and she cut me off with that look she gives when someone asks to use Wikipedia as a source. In my 30 years at this school, I've never had a safety incident. She gestured at her wall of fame behind her desk. I'm the only faculty member who can say that. But the ceiling is perfectly fine. This building has survived earthquakes since 1952. 10 minutes later, another tremble. Smaller, but it was followed by something even worse. A grinding sound, like concrete scraping against metal. Dust was falling steadier now, coating our papers. Miss Williams, Jason pointed up. That support beam just shifted. She didn't even look up. That's the HVAC system. It always makes noise. My phone buzzed. Text from my mom. Get out of any buildings. May 8th earthquake coming. Emergency alert. I stood up to show her my phone. She snatched it from my hand. No phones during study period. She dropped it in her desk drawer with all the others she'd confiscated. These earthquake apps are designed to create panic. Fear-mongering for ad revenue. More dust fell. Mia started coughing. The crack was now a full split, and I could see darkness between the edges. The support beam made another grinding sound. I wasn't sticking around. I started packing my stuff. Anyone who leaves gets a 0 on their research paper. She pulled up her gradebook on the computer. That's 40% of your final grade. Want to explain that to colleges? That's when the janitor burst through the door. Everyone out! Building's compromised. Get out! Miss Williams actually shoved him. You're creating panic! She slammed the door and locked it. Then she did something I'll never forget. She started pulling down the blinds so other teachers couldn't see in. I've worked too hard for too long to let manufactured hysteria ruin my perfect record. She was actually shaking. That witch at Washington High had only had one paper cut incident. One. And if she thinks she deserves the award, she has another thing coming. A chunk of concrete the size of a textbook crashed onto Emily's desk. She screamed and jumped back. We all did. That's from construction next door. Miss Williams was basically shrieking now. They're trying to sabotage me. The timing is too convenient. The support beam wasn't just making noise anymore. It was bending. Actually visibly bending in the middle like a straw. The entire ceiling was sagging down with it. Sarah was crying. Please, my dad's a structural engineer. He says old buildings can pancake in seconds. Please let us leave. Your father wants my award. They all do. 30 years. 0 incidents. Perfect record. That's when the lights started flickering. A water pipe burst through one of the cracks, spraying everywhere. The sound coming from above us was like a giant chewing gravel. I looked at Jason. He looked at me. We both looked at the fire alarm. Don't even think about it. Miss Williams moved to block us. False alarms are expulsion. Criminal charges. I'll ruin every single one of you. Another chunk fell. Then another. The grinding turned into a shrieking metal sound that hurt my ears. Jason played football. I ran track. We both moved at the same time. He went low, tackling her at the waist. I went for the alarm. My hand hit the lever just as Miss Williams grabbed my hair. Vandalism. Assault. You're destroying everything. The alarm blared. 20 students fought for the door at once. Miss Williams was still screaming about her perfect record, her award, the superintendent. We made it to the parking lot just as the rumbling turned into a roar. The entire second floor of the library collapsed into the first, right where we'd been sitting. The dust cloud was massive. When it cleared, the library was just gone. Pancaked. But we were alive. Miss Williams stood there in the parking lot, covered in dust, still muttering, 30 years. Perfect record. They sabotaged me. The superintendent. The fire chief said we'd evacuated with maybe 45 seconds to spare. Any longer and we'd have been crushed. But that wasn't even the craziest part. Because a few days later, we found out the real reason Miss Williams refused to let us leave. The parking lot was chaos with fire trucks pulling up and EMTs running toward us with their medical bags, while the library behind us kept making these horrible settling noises like a dying animal. Miss Williams was standing off to the side